The universe is a trap, and you fell into it without knowing. We are at the exact minute of the cosmic deception. Welcome to Mindblown Space. Have you ever had that strange feeling that something doesn't add up? As if the universe wasn't so natural, so logical, or so real as you once believed. In this journey, we're not going to repeat the same old explanations about the Big Bang, relativity, or dimensions. Here you will enter a territory where the universe behaves like a carefully constructed illusion. And the most disturbing part is that we all fell into it without noticing. Stay until the end, because something unexpected once happened, and it could happen again. Imagine being trapped inside a simulation so complex that you don't even know it's a simulation. We're not talking about a poorly rendered video game. We're talking about a reality so detailed that even chance is programmed. Scientists like Nick Bostrom have put forward rather uncomfortable hypotheses. If any advanced civilization could create simulations indistinguishable from reality, how would we know that we are not inside one of them? The numbers are not on your side. If there exists even a single civilization capable of simulating entire universes, then most likely there are millions of simulated realities for every real universe. So, the probability that you are an authentic being in the original universe is basically zero. But don't worry, you are not alone. We are all in the same theater. What's even murkier is how modern physics seems to behave as if it were programmed. Quantum entanglement, where two particles can communicate instantly regardless of distance, defies all logic. As if the information didn't travel, but was already there. As if the universe only loaded the data when we looked at it. Just like a video game that doesn't render what is outside your field of vision, the cherry on top is the quantization of energy. Nothing flows freely. Everything happens in discrete packets, as if they were pixels of a cosmic screen, physical reality or programming code. And if this makes you uncomfortable, wait until you discover what happened in an experiment where a particle was measured and it changed its past. But that will be revealed later, the particle that traveled to the past and defied logic. If you still believe that physics was a predictable science, I have news for you. A particle achieved the unthinkable. It changed its history, altered its past, simply because someone decided to observe it. And this is not a science fiction tale. It's an experiment so bewildering it made more than one theoretical physicist break a sweat. We're talking about the delayed choice experiment, a modernized version of the famous double-slit experiment, only with a perverse twist. Here, it's not just about observing the particle's behavior, but making the decision to observe it after it has already made its choice. The result: the particle changes what it did in the past, as if it had received a call from the future. Let's break it down. A photon is sent toward a barrier with two slits. If no one observes it, the photon acts like a wave and passes through both slits at the same time, creating an interference pattern. If a detector is installed to see which slit it goes through, the photon behaves like a particle. It chooses one slit and acts completely differently. So far, so good. But here comes the trap. In the delayed version of the experiment, the decision to observe the photon is made after it has already passed through the slits, and the result never fails. If you decide to observe it, the photon acts as if it had always chosen only one slit. If you don't, the wave pattern appears, as if it had always gone through both. The past is rewritten according to what you choose in the present. And how the hell is that possible? According to the rules of the classical universe, it's not. But according to quantum rules, time is not linear. Cause and effect are entangled, tangled up like earphones in a pocket. What you do now alters what already happened. Not because you physically travel back in time, but because time itself doesn't work the way you thought. This phenomenon is not just a laboratory oddity, it's a crack in the very structure of reality. It suggests that the past is not a fixed line, but a malleable illusion that depends on your current knowledge. And that, dear viewer, calls into question everything you think you know. Now, imagine this applied on the scale of the entire universe. What if our present decisions were shaping not only our future, but also our origin? The universe is not real, and scientists already suspect it. Get ready for a statement that will churn your stomach more than a black hole. The universe might not be real. Not a sensory illusion, not a dream, but literally a mathematical construction with no physical existence. And it's not being said by a nut wearing a tinfoil hat, but by theoretical physicists with credentials, equations, and a suspicious face of we know something you don't. The culprit behind this intellectual heresy is physicist Max Tegmark, who proposes that the universe is, in essence, a pure mathematical structure. What does that mean? That what you call matter, energy, space, and time are only manifestations of formulas, logical relationships, and abstract structures. No atoms, no particles, no reality. Just equations playing at being real. The mathematical model of everything, as Tegmark calls it, suggests that the reason mathematics so perfectly describes the universe is not a coincidence. It's because the universe is mathematics. It's not that physical laws resemble formulas, it's that they are formulas. Everything you see, feel, and experience is nothing more than a projection of an abstract system, including you. It sounds ridiculous, of course, until you notice how well mathematics predicts reality. Newton wrote an equation and predicted the fall of an apple. Einstein scribbled another and predicted the curvature of space. Nobody went out to measure atoms with a ruler, they just used numbers, and they were right. Why? It's as if the universe were forced to behave according to an unbreakable mathematical logic, as if it were a video game with physics programmed from the start, as if it had no other option but to obey. But who designed that code, and why was it designed? This is where some scientists prefer to look the other way. Admitting that we live in a mathematical simulation is a tough pill to swallow, but the clues are there. Universal constants, like the speed of light or the electron's charge, have values so precise they seem manually entered, as if someone had fine-tuned the parameters for the game to work. And what if someone actually did? What if we are trapped in a perfect construction because we were never supposed to notice it? But the most unsettling part is still missing, an event that should never have happened, and that suggests the universe, in fact, made a mistake. And someone noticed the error that broke the simulation and was recorded. There are moments when the universe blinks, when something doesn't fit, and not even scientists know how to cover it up. Today we'll talk about one of those moments. A real, documented event that should not have happened under any known logic, and that some consider the first recorded bug of the simulation we live in. Yes, a cosmic programming error. One that someone or something failed to hide in time. It happened in a quantum physics laboratory during a coherence test with rubidium particles, a simple experiment supposedly repeatable and controlled. The researchers prepared a cloud of ultra-cold atoms to observe their wave-like behavior. Nothing new. Until the unexplainable occurred. The atoms disappeared. They didn't evaporate. They weren't destroyed. They simply stopped being in the container for an instant. The system registered them, then didn't, and then did again, as if someone had paused that part of the program and forgotten to render it in time. The most grotesque thing is that this was captured by millimeter precision sensors, impossible to falsify by human error. The data showed a gap of existence, a parenthesis in matter, and when the scientists repeated the experiment, it happened again, but never in the exact same way, always with a slight variation. As if the simulation were trying to self-repair while being observed. The classic behavior of an artificial intelligence that doesn't want to be discovered. The physicists who witnessed it didn't give lectures or interviews, they just published a technical report full of jargon to bury it in specialized journals. But someone noticed something strange. A line of the report described the event as a state inconsistency not correlated with system variables. In plain language, the universe did something it wasn't supposed to. This led other researchers to look for similar events. And what a surprise! There are dozens of reports buried among piles of academic articles. Impossible fluctuations. Particles appearing before they are created, recorded events that no one triggered, as if the universe had moments of lag. And now, just as I promised at the beginning, comes the most shocking part. Recently, during a large-scale cosmological simulation, a supercomputer predicted the formation of a galaxy with absurdly specific characteristics. Weeks later, a telescope captured that exact galaxy in the position and shape described. An object that did not exist at the beginning of the simulation. An object that, technically, was not programmed to be there. Simulation? Synchronicity? Or simply the universe revealing its code? Maybe we'll never know. But if this channel manages to open your eyes even a little, then the universe just made another mistake, allowing you to see. Subscribe to Mindblown Space and join those who no longer believe in the obvious. See you in the next slip of reality.